You know something is wrong. You've known it for a long time, yet you stay. Or you leave and you go back. You carry the person with you into every new space, unable to fully arrive anywhere else. The people around you watch this happen. Eventually, they start asking questions. When you can't logically explain your own behavior, the world often labels the delay as weakness, stupidity, or a collapse of self-respect. Your persistence is the predictable result of a psychological process that operates below the level of conscious choice. It is called trauma bonding. Logic alone cannot break this attachment. To make movement possible, you have to look past the emotion and identify the biological mechanism keeping you trapped. The blueprint for that mechanism dates back to the 1950s, with behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner. Skinner's experiments with animals showed that rewards delivered unpredictably, in a random rhythm, produce the most persistent, compulsive behavior of any pattern tested. In a trauma-bonded relationship, the person causing harm operates like a behavioral slot machine. They deliver cruelty and tenderness in a rhythm your nervous system cannot predict, and therefore cannot stop monitoring. The moments of warmth become dopamine hits. Your brain begins to crave those hits with an intensity that grows the longer they are withheld. Uncertainty itself becomes the driver. It transforms ordinary affection into an addictive substance. This addiction is manufactured through a specific loop. We can map it using psychologist Lenore Walker's 4-phase cycle of abuse. Phase 1 is tension building. The atmosphere in the relationship becomes charged. You walk on eggshells, trying to manage the environment and prevent the inevitable conflict. Inside your body, neurological distress ticks steadily upward. Phase 2 is the incident. This is the explosion of verbal, emotional, or physical abuse. The threat pushes your nervous system to its threshold of fear. Then comes Phase 3, reconciliation. The person who hurt you suddenly becomes remorseful and attentive. They revert to the version of themselves you fell in love with. When a threat suddenly lifts and is replaced by affection, the brain receives a massive hit of dopamine. You perceive this neurochemical relief as extraordinary love. That leads into Phase 4, a period of calm. It lasts long enough to convince your brain that the good version of your partner is the true one. Then the tension starts building again. Every completed loop adds another layer of neurological conditioning, reinforcing the false connection that the person harming you is your only source of relief. This cycle is the same mechanism found in Stockholm Syndrome, named after a 1973 bank robbery in Sweden. Locked inside a vault, hostages developed emotional bonds to their captors. These captors controlled access to safety and warmth, delivering relief in unpredictable bursts. Under conditions of absolute dependency and unpredictable reward, the brain produces attachment as a means of staying safe. Viewed through the lens of survival, bonding with a controlling figure is a rational biological strategy for a nervous system under duress. The common advice to just leave often falls flat because it ignores these mechanics. Leaving a trauma bond mimics the process of drug withdrawal. Separation triggers a crisis of anxiety, intrusive thoughts, and physical obsession. Your nervous system has lost its primary mechanism for regulating distress and struggles to stabilize itself. This creates a painful paradox. You must grieve someone who was causing you harm, acknowledging that the love you felt was real even while the relationship was unsafe. The urge to return to the abuser is the brain attempting to escape the physical pain of withdrawal. Because this bond was formed through biology, recovery requires physical and neurological retraining. This begins with creating absolute distance between you and the source of the dysregulation. Specialized support like EMDR or somatic therapy can help. These approaches work with the body where the trauma is stored, rather than relying on the rational mind alone. The goal is to teach the nervous system to regulate through consistently safe, predictable connections, rather than fear-based cycles. This attachment is evidence of a functioning human nervous system, responding to conditions it was never designed to endure. Genuine safety is possible to rebuild. The person who existed before the fear entered your life is still there, waiting.